Okay, I've never done a YouTube video before, so I hope this goes well.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm a costume maker for film and theatre, and a couple of years ago I decided to take a year out to do an MA. During my MA I found the Patterns of Fashion 5 book, and I was utterly inspired by the back pages of the book where Luca talks about drafting stays on a curved grid. But I didn't know how to work out that curve. At the time I hadn't seen anybody else's theories on how to work out that curve. I have now. I've seen a couple on YouTube and I've seen a couple of online tutorials, but none of them are quite the same. There's a lot of similarities, but none of them are quite the same as to what I got to in my MA. So I thought I'd share if you want to see. The method that I came up with is fairly simple. It's just about folding a piece of paper to work out the curve. So in the same way that you'd fold a piece of paper up, if you were to make a paper snowflake, you'd fold it and then you'd cut the curve along the top and you'd open it out and you'd have a circle. And then you'd fold it back up, snip into it, open it up, and you'd have a snowflake. It's the same kind of premise to working out the arc of your body. So I'm going to show you how to work that out. My method to work that out, I trialed so many times with so many different bodies and different sets of measurements. So I know that it works. It may not be historically accurate, but there is currently, there is no evidence of how things were drafted. It hasn't been found. We can go by what we know, that they may not have used numbers, they may have used string, they may have used compasses, things that we can see in pictures that they had tools for. So we can hypothesize about what methods may have been used, but we don't actually know. There is no written proof of drafting methods that we have found, that has been found. So it's a theory and it is not grounded, but what it will do is it will get you a set of stays to your measurements that are historically accurate, based on a historically accurate pattern, but that fits you perfectly. That's the best I can do. So my method is, it's also been worked out mathematically. I have a mathematical formula. Don't worry, it's not daunting. I have a mathematical formula that does the same as folding a piece of paper, just to prove that it's similar. But unfortunately, to use that mathematical formula, you need to have a lot of space, particularly if you're not curvy. If you're curvy, you can probably do it in a metre or two, but if you are not curvy, you end up having to have like 6 meters in order to draft it with a compass. It's just not practical or realistic. So the method I'm going to show you today is really, really easy. I hope you like it. Please give me feedback. Yeah. But today I'm just going to be explaining how to draft the basic curve to your body shape for you to then use as the block to draft your stays onto. It's fairly simple. You're going to need 6 different measurements. You're going to need your underarm to waist and where your bust forms in that line. This is the most important measurement. This is where everything works from. Then you're going to need your bust measurement, but you're going to need to separate that front bust and back bust. Bear in mind that when you do that, the side
is further back than you think it is. If you put your tape measure on your bra bone, it's going to be too, or where your bra bone would be if you're not wearing a bra, it's going to be too far forward. Your underarm, start from your armpit and work down from your armpit. It's further back than you think it is. If you put it too far forwards, you won't get the same conical shape at the front. And then the same at your waist. So you'll need to measure your front waist and your back waist separately from that side line that is further back than you think it is. It's not on your back, but it is further back than you think it is. Don't put it too far forwards. You won't get the right curves. So I've seen somebody drafting it all in one curve that's the same, but we are not the same front and back. Our the angle, because we have a bust, you might not have much of a bust, you might have a bigger belly, you might not have a bust at all, but generally our bust is bigger than our waist in comparison to our back, which our back isn't much different to our waist. Generally speaking, I know people vary huge amounts. So if you just did one curve, the back is going to end up sticking out and the front is going to end up being very flat and not getting that really lovely conical shape from your waist to your butt. Oh, we don't want that. We want that lovely, lovely shape. So, starting with the underarm measurement, draw your line. I'm going to try and make it nice and dark so it shows up. I hope that. Okay. So, then mark on your underarm to waist and your bust to waist. So waist, bust, underarm. Then you want to draw out at a right angle from your bust and from your waist. Just going to check you can see that. Woo woo! Okay. And then on your front bust, mark on your front bust, half of your front bust measurement. So half of my front bust is 9 3/4. My line is not long enough. What I would also recommend is that you extend your lines beyond the measurement. I'll show you why in a minute. But front bust and front waist 7.5. Front waist 7.5, and then join those two spot marks together with a diagonal, and then do the same for the back. So my back bust is 7.25 and my back waist is 6.5, and join those lines together. So as you'll see, the front is much steeper than the back because I don't have boobs on my back. So then the curve.
how do we make the curve from that? Really easy. Sorry about the paper sounds. You fold backwards on itself your piece of paper along the line. Really important to get this nice and straight and flat. And then you fold this line into the centre. And then take your pencil and mark where your front bust line comes onto the centre line and your front waist line comes to the centre line. I'm just going to mark those marks so that I know what they are. And then you do the same with the back. You'll see that they don't come to the same points as where the front came to, because the angle is different. So that angle is really important to get the curve of your body, and your back curve, as you can see, is so significantly different to your front curve. So just mark on what those lines are. Okay, so now we know the difference. You'd think we're going to go up, but we're not. We're going to go down. We need to drop these lines, not raise these lines. That doesn't work. So, take my nice clean ruler that I've used for painting with, and front bust, I'm going to drop 1 1/4 inches down. So I'm going to come over to here. I'm going to line up the ruler till it gets to 1 1/4, so it makes almost like a line. Yeah? So that's 1 1/4 inches down. From the front bust mark to the original bust line. So that's 1 5/8. Then I'm going to do the same for the waist. Just make sure that that's still in the middle of your screen. I don't know whether it is. And that is 1 3/16, I think. So it will always be different. None of these 4 points are the same, which is really important. I'm going to go with 5. So then, yes, transfer the back bust measurement down to the side, and the back waist measurement down to the side. Okay, so now we've got a point where our curves drop to. So then you need to just draw a lovely, lovely curve in one nice, clean swoop. From this point to this point. Now you can measure and do the same again to the middle point, see where that line comes to. I wouldn't worry too much about that. So do the same on the back. So same on the waist. A nice So there we have it. There is your basic grid, your basic block for drafting stays onto.
Made to your measurements and your shape, your form. And then you can follow the instructions in the back of the Patterns of Fashion 5 book, or we can do another video.
I've got a selection of patterns that I've taken from various local northern archives. For example, the Discovery Centre in Leeds and Bankfield House in Halifax. And I've been using these patterns as reference to check the method of transferring the patterns onto a grid. So I can show you that, but you can also use the patterns in the back of in Patterns of Fashion 5 book. You don't have to have a pattern to hand as long as you've got a reference. What would be good if you were interested in that though is you'd need to blow those up a little. They don't have to be full size, they just have to be scaled up a bit so that you can fold them, because they're a bit too small to fold at the moment. But yeah, let me know if you're interested. I can do another video. If you have any questions, I can answer questions. Also, apologies and caveat, I'm actually suffering with long COVID at the moment. So my mind is a bit fuzzy and all over the place. So if there's anything that was not clear, or if it all felt a bit mumbled, please tell me and I will try again to do this clearly, because I feel like the setup is okay. Feedback is welcome. Yeah. What do you want to know? Thanks for watching.